Investing in real estate is probably the best path that you can take to create financial freedom, financial independence, and create wealth all at the same time. It allows anybody in any situation to take some type of action to get some type of results. It is incredible, and it has made me more money in the past 10 years than I legitimately thought I would make in 10 lifetimes. However, it's not for everyone, and there are a ton of different mistakes that you can make along the way and pitfalls that you can fall into that can completely sink you. There are so many things out of your control that affect what you can and can't do. It makes it challenging, and that's why not everybody does it. I remember when I started thinking about investing in real estate, I had this completely inaccurate picture of what it actually was. The things that I thought would be issues weren't issues, and the things that I thought would be easier, didn't even think about, those were the issues. So having an unclear picture for a new investor can scare them away from potentially not taking action, or they may take action and fall right on their face. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some common mistakes that rookie investors make. Then I'm going to talk about some common mistakes that even seasoned investors make. And then we're going to talk about how we can learn from those mistakes. So no matter where you are on the real estate investing spectrum, you're able to learn from this video, take action, and hopefully not stub your toe near as much. All right, so we're on to the rookie mistakes section. Let's go over the 3 biggest mistakes plus a bonus one that I see new investors make. So to give you a little bit of background, I started investing in real estate in 2014, and for about 4 years I invested with a full-time job and considered myself a rookie. 2018, I quit my full-time job and went all in on real estate and learned a ton. I also have over 2,000 students that are investing in real estate, most of them which are brand new real estate investors. So although I do own $50 million worth of real estate and have done over 1,500 deals, it wasn't that long ago that I was a rookie. I'm also very connected to rookie real estate investors through my students and all my connections. The number one mistake that new real estate investors make, in my opinion, is underestimating the rehab costs. It's really tricky to understand how much a property is going to cost to be repaired because you don't know exactly what you're going to repair. For the most part, when you're running an initial budget, you don't quite know if you're maybe going to replace those cabinets or just paint them, and is this countertop good, and what if I tear up the carpets and the flooring underneath is perfect and it's great hardwood that I don't have to refinish? I'll save some money there. I don't know what's behind this wall. There are just so many variables that go into rehabbing a property, and every single rehab is different, and every single person doing the rehab would do something different. It's almost impossible to know exactly what something's going to cost. Even as a seasoned real estate investor that does over 50 flips a year, I know while we're never going to be able to predict everything that happens in a rehab, there are a couple things you can do ahead of time to help mitigate that risk and make that potential gap a little more narrow. The first thing you can do is get 3 bids on every single project you're going to do in the property. If you get a property under contract to purchase, in the contingency period, meaning before you have to financially commit to the deal, you can get some bids to help narrow down your costs. But even after you've closed on the property, make sure to get 3 bids on everything so you know that you're not getting taken advantage by one contractor and one bid. This can save you a lot of money and help you make the best decision for each part of the project. Another way that you can help mitigate some of this risk is putting at least a 10% buffer at the end of your rehab budget. Meaning, if the property you think is going to cost $60,000, make it $66,000 when you run your numbers, when you raise the money, and when you analyze your deal, just to leave you some extra fluff. If you come under that, great, you're going to make more money. But if you go a little bit over that $60,000, at least you're not completely screwing over the project and the numbers that you financially ran. A lot of people I know do 15 to 20% just to cover all of their bases. And finally, a good way to kind of narrow down the rehab budget is to make sure you're including things outside of the rehab. When you're borrowing money or using your own money to do a rehab, you have holding costs that you need to include in your rehab budget. Whether you're flipping it or refinancing it at the end, you need to have these costs a part of your rehab because they are actual costs that you're incurring while you're doing the rehab. We're talking things like utilities, money holding costs. If you're paying a private lender or a hard money lender, you need to include those costs in the rehab budget. Real estate taxes, if it's a 6-month project for you, you're going to have to pay 6 months of taxes because you own the property for 6 months. And if you're selling it, make sure to include the selling cost, like staging and having a realtor list the property and paying the realtor to sell it. If you don't include all of those things, it could be a 20 to 30% swing on your budget. But if you do include those things, you're able to cover those costs and buy the property right. The second mistake that a lot of rookie investors make is over leveraging themselves. And honestly, this one could probably be used for seasoned investors. Leverage is probably the most powerful aspect of real estate, in my opinion. You're able to buy properties with little to no money out of pocket by leveraging lenders and banks. So it's a beautiful part about investing, and it makes it the best investment strategy in the world. However, you can over leverage. You want to be sure that you're looking at all of your numbers and looking at best case and worst case scenarios when you're taking out loans. For example, if you're doing a commercial loan on a single family rental property through a small local bank, there's probably going to be a 3-year ARM or 3-year adjustable rate mortgage, meaning in 3 years, the interest rate you have on that property will adjust with the market. Now, 3 years from now, you're probably pretty safe. Now, 3 years from now, I'm pretty confident that rates will be where they're at, if not maybe a little bit lower. However, if you bought a property in 2019 at really low rates, in 2020 or 23, rates absolutely shot up, and it screwed over a lot of people because they ran all their numbers, their holding costs, they were collecting a certain amount of rent, and they had a certain amount of interest allocated from rent to pay to the bank. Well, if interest rates go from 4 to 8%, your interest just went up a ton, and you may go from positively cash flowing $300 a month on a rental to negatively cash flowing $100 on a rental, which is not the end of the world, but they're just things to be aware of. So make sure you're not over leveraging and you're taking account into all the things and all of the potential changes that the money and holding costs will do to you. Now let's talk about some mistakes that even experts or seasoned investors make. The number one mistake that I see a lot of seasoned investors make is they don't diversify. Now, I'm not telling you have to get into the restaurant business, buy a laundromat, a single family rental apartment complex, and a retail center. But if you just focus on one lane of real estate, yes, maybe you'll go deep, but things change. And if you have all your eggs in one basket and interest rates change, or there's a pandemic and people stop going to the offices and office buildings lose a lot of their occupancy and potentially a lot of their income and go under, which is what we're seeing now. If you're all in on office space and there's a pandemic, or maybe a couple of the big corporations in that city end up leaving and that city kind of starts to have a little bit of a commercial decline, you could be screwed. So what I like to do is have a little bit of a mixture of everything. So we have 150 single family rentals. I have 6 apartment complexes. I have some self-storage facilities. I have a commercial building, and that's all my holdings for passive income. Then I also fix and flip and wholesale for my active income, as well as have a property management company, as well as have an education company. So I like to have multiple streams of passive wealth being built through multiple asset classes, as well as multiple streams of income through active investing strategy. And this could not have proven itself more powerful for me than over the past couple years. In 2022, my education business had a killer year, but my flipping company had a really bad year. In 2023, it was a little bit more of the same. Education company did good, flipping company did okay. In 2024, my education company absolutely tanked, but my flipping company was there to pick up the pieces, and we started a few other companies like a construction company and a property management company. So the point is, it's been very rare for me, and I'm not the best entrepreneur or business owner, obviously, but it's been pretty rare for me to have all of my companies hitting in 1 month. It's usually a longer period of time, or one is dipping because of factors that I can't control and ones that I can, or just some months certain things happen, the market shifts a little bit, and it seems to be like always at least 1 or 2 of the companies does decent. Now I'm hoping to become a better entrepreneur and a better small business owner, a better leader, and get it to where my companies are a little bit more smooth and have a steady increase among all of them, which would be absolutely incredible, but I don't know how realistic that actually is. Another mistake that I see some seasoned investors make is quitting their job too soon. You can become a pretty seasoned investor with a full-time job. Shoot, I have 2,100 students now. Most of them have full-time jobs, and a lot of them are buying a lot of real estate. I was a real estate investor for 4 years before I quit my job. So I see some people do a good flip and have a rental or two and decide to quit their job. If they don't have the right guidance, that can be very, very scary because you still have a family to support or your personal lifestyle to support. And if you're not flipping or not wholesaling, you're not making much active income. Not being set up properly before you quit your job can be a catastrophic mistake. So the solution for this, in my opinion, is what we ended up doing. I didn't quit my job till I had about 25 single family rental properties that I knew produce a certain amount of income every month. I also had a good amount of money in the business savings account from past flips and wholesales, but more importantly, I had a pipeline of deals coming down the line. When I quit my job, we were in the middle of 2 rehabs and we had 3 under contract. So I knew I had at least a few month leeway to figure out what it's like to be a full-time real estate investor. And at that point, I was spending 10 to 15 hours a week on my side side hustle, which was real estate investing. And I felt pretty confident that if I went from 10 to 15 hours to 50 to 60 hours, I'd be able to do a lot more and make a lot more impact. So just setting up your systems, your connections, and having a pipeline of deals is the best time, in my opinion, to quit your job and go all in. Because when you go all in, it's all on you. That's exciting, but also scary, and you probably have responsibility. So make sure to not jump off the diving board when you don't know if there's water or not in the pool. So you're never gonna know it all, and it's always gonna be scary when you're investing in real estate. But there are certain things you can do to help mitigate some of that. And the biggest thing you can do is follow somebody else that's doing what you wanna do. If you want to get into wholesaling, follow somebody on social media, YouTube, but also in person that is doing what you wanna do. You will avoid a ton of mistakes. You'll avoid a ton of different issues by just following somebody that just made those mistakes and just had those issues. So you're able to overcome and avoid a ton of mistakes just by simply being around people that are where you want to be. A lot of people listen to advice of those closest to them, but if you listen to advice of those closest to your goals, is where you're actually going to get the things that matter. Somebody that hasn't done what you're trying to do, tells you how to do something, doesn't make any sense. However, if somebody's where you want to be, that's where you need to get around them, whether that means paying for a mentorship, joining a mastermind, or joining a free Facebook group or a free meetup. Go and meet people that are where you want to be. Just surrounding yourself with successful people will connect you with their connections. You'll get the confidence, and they'll probably even help you out and throw you a bone or two along the way, because most successful people want other people to be successful. So surround yourself and get into rooms with people that are where you want to be, not people that are closest to you, and you will avoid a ton of these mistakes. Whether you're a new real estate investor or a seasoned real estate investor, there's always somebody that knows more than you, and there's always somebody that probably just made a mistake that you're about to make. But if you connect with them and have regular communication with them, you can avoid a ton of that. And the biggest thing for me, aside from spending over $100,000 a year on masterminds and coaching programs to make myself a better real estate investor and leader, is surrounding yourself with an incredible team. If you're new to real estate, your team could be all outsourced, some contractors, some wholesalers and agents that you deal with. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with the best of the best. If you're a little more seasoned and you start to build your own team, make sure you're hiring the right people that are going to show up. Make sure you're hiring the right people that you can trust to do the job, and you can give them autonomy. Even if you think you're the best in the company at something, that's fine. But if it's not a huge needle mover, but you can hire someone that's 80, 85% as good as you are, and that frees you up to do other things and look at working on the company, not in the company, that could be the best use of those resources. So whether it's outsourced or in-source team, hiring the right people or hiring the right contractors and giving them full autonomy and communicating with them will make your life a lot easier. Hopefully you learned about some of the mistakes that a lot of investors make, and this video helps you avoid some of those by taking into account some of the things we talked about. Make sure to check out this video over here to learn more about real estate investing. Like and subscribe to this channel. I give away more free content than anyone on social media when it comes to real estate investing. See you on the next one.